Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. Now let's do this fifth episode, and the second dinosaur that you chose for this fifth episode is Daspletosaurus. Part of the group that I really like, that is my favorite groups of dinosaurs of all time is the Tyrannosaur family, which includes Tyrannosaurus Rex and a few others. Anyway, let's get started about Daspletosaurus. Let's talk about its size. The size of Daspletosaurus would actually be between 25 to 35 feet long, probably weighed at 3 to 4 tons, which is 6,000 to 8,000 pounds. Pretty much lived in North America, in places like Montana, Wyoming, and parts of Alberta. And what I actually like about Daspletosaurus is that it's actually a very robust kind of carnivore. And it's actually a very robust carnivore, and I'll actually show something to you. This right here is the tooth of Daspletosaurus. And as you can see right here, it's even though it's not very impressive by how I actually hold it compared to probably what I'm actually showing you, but if you actually take a look at it like this, and you can see it's actually kind of a broad tooth, which actually shows that it's actually nearing the stage of getting much stronger jaws that actually can crush bone. And that's what mainly the Tyrannosaurs were actually kind of doing, is that their teeth get thicker and thicker as time actually evolves. You know, as they keep evolving, their teeth get bigger, their skulls get bigger, and also their body size gets bigger. Now, the Daspletosaurus is smaller than Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that's what I'm actually going to point out here, is that it's actually pretty much the third or fourth largest tyrannosaur that's been discovered. Now, there are other tyrannosaurs that are bigger than Daspletosaurus. There's one that's been found in New Mexico and Arizona, but I just can't remember the name, though. I just can't remember that name. But the second biggest tyrannosaur is Tarbosaurus, which is in Mongolia and China. And then, of course, you got the monstrosity of all monstrosities, is Tyrannosaurus Rex. But let's actually talk about the environment that it lived in. The environment for Daspletosaurus, it probably lived near the open areas, probably like places kind of almost similar to like the Great Plains, or otherwise probably almost like the Serengeti Plains of Africa. And during that time we wouldn't even be seeing grass, because grass never came up during the time of the dinosaurs, because dinosaurs would have never eaten grass whatsoever. But the prey that Daspletosaurus would have gone after were pretty much multiple sources of prey. It actually would have gone after the duck-billed dinosaurs like Corythosaurus, Maiasaura, Lambeosaurus, and a few of the duck-bills I'm just trying to figure out, but I mean, they might pop in my head at some point. They will also go after the ceratopsians, like they're sort of the horned dinosaurs, like Aeneosaurus, Chasmosaurus, Centrosaurus, Pachyrhinosaurus, and oh man, what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, Styracosaurus, and probably went after the juveniles of the armored dinosaurs, like Euplocephalus. And kind of a funny name, isn't it? Euplocephalus. Sounds like a disease, but it's not. Anyway, but it's also probably, but even though it actually even go after carcasses too, dead carcasses, but pretty much it's actually just an opportunistic predator, which means it actually both hunts and scavenges. But it's probably mainly more of a hunter. But since it's just a robust type of carnivore, it actually probably would have only gone after probably the ceratopsians and some of the juvenile armored dinosaur, Euplocephalus. In terms of its ability to hunt the duckbill dinosaurs, it could hunt the duckbills, but it's really going to be entering uncharted territory because the other predator that is around, actually two other predators that were actually around that actually competed against, one of them is Albertosaurus. And right here, this is the part of the upper jaw of Albertosaurus, which is called the maxilla, which is the part of the skull that is actually for the part of the upper jaw. But as you can see, Albertosaurus has big teeth, and you can see smaller teeth poking out there. It's because it's growing new ones. And and probably if I put this way, you can see that the teeth are almost thin. They're almost thin. So Albertosaurus was doing something differently than what Daspletosaurus was doing. So Daspletosaurus was probably more of running in, attacking the prey with a lot of power, whereas Albertosaurus, since it's a much more sleeker dinosaur, it would actually been going after like the duck-billed dinosaurs, and so probably would have probably actually just ran in and just took a quick bite and then backed off, and then probably if the prey was still alive, it would still bite and then back off, because that's pretty much what it did. But I mean, it could still crush bone. I mean, Albertosaurus still has pretty strong jaws, but I would probably say that since that Albertosaurus was more gracile, probably would have gone after the duck-billed dinosaurs. The Daspletosaurus more towards the more robust kinds of animals, because since it actually has to fight its strength. It has to fight dinosaurs that have almost the same strength as it did. But in terms of how they actually kind of interacted, but also the other carnivore would have been Gorgosaurus, but Gorgosaurus lived pretty much further north, pretty much like in Alaska and Canada and some parts of Montana. But how those dinosaurs would have interacted, they would have probably avoided each other. Basically, it's because if they actually entered the borders of their territory, they were probably just been pretty much of a clash. But the Daspletosaurus would have probably been more of the winner over of getting the territory, because considering it's a robust dinosaur and also it's a little bit bigger than Albertosaurus and Gorgosaurus. Gorgosaurus would have just ran off. It would never have taken a chance against the Daspletosaurus. Anyway, probably the speed of the Daspletosaurus is probably maybe 25 miles per hour. It's going to be a little bit faster than Tyrannosaurus Rex and Tarbosaurus, so it would have probably actually been having a speed of 25 miles per hour. But Albertosaurus would have actually had a speed of 30 miles per hour, which is much faster. In terms of their senses, they actually are have very good senses, a very good sense of hearing, good sense of smell, and good sense of sight. Now, the Daspletosaurus actually will, on the skull of the Daspletosaurus, it would actually show that it's actually getting a broader skull in the back. And the back of the skull is actually getting broader. It's because it's actually starting to develop a very strong bite. And also, once the back of the skull is going to start expanding, the eyes are actually going to, because since most predatory dinosaurs actually have eyes on the side of their heads, but if you actually have a broader skull, the eyes are going to move closely forward, which means that you actually have a better sense of depth perception, which is binocular vision. That's what we have. That's what most modern predators have today. So that's actually what the sense of sight. That's what the sense of sight would probably be for the Daspletosaurus. Most Tyrannosaurs actually had a really good sense of sight. As for the sense of smell, it's very strong, and it's probably pretty much like a bloodhound, probably bloodhound type of sense of smell, because since bloodhounds have a really strong sense of smell, but it probably wouldn't actually have a very good sense of smell like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Excuse me, I don't know what's coming up. Well, I don't know what's going on with me. But it's actually got a really good sense of smell. It could probably actually smell like a little over 5 miles, which is pretty dang good. But for our sense of smell is just really bad. We have a poor sense of smell, considering that we have a small nose. We do not have a very large olfactory bulb, which is the part of the brain that is actually devoted to the sense of smell. And I would probably think that it's very well useful to track down live prey, and also it actually be useful to track down carcasses, because if it would scavenge whenever it needed to. And pretty much their extinction is likely due to climate change. And also new predators. New predators would actually be taking over and pretty much actually just push the predators that were actually part of the past out of the system. So like say, because since the Daspletosaurus fossils have been found from 70 to 80 million years ago, which is the late Cretaceous. So the Daspletosaurus had a pretty good run in that particular time, but the new predator that was actually coming in was Tyrannosaurus Rex. So Tyrannosaurus Rex was far more adapted, and also it actually been able to push Daspletosaurus, Albertosaurus, and Gorgosaurus out of the system. But probably what I think may have made Tyrannosaurus Rex was probably Albertosaurus and Daspletosaurus probably interbreeding with each other. I think that probably might have happened, because since if there's only very little species of the Albertosaurus and few members of Albertosaurus and Daspletosaurus around, probably a few of them actually interbreeding with each other, and actually probably would have have developed offspring that was probably almost like Tyrannosaurus Rex, but probably it would have been a very hard thing to do, because since that. Wolves and coyotes actually interbreed with each other, and also wolves and dogs also interbreed with each other. Some cats do actually interbreed with each other when there's not a lot of mates that are around of their species. But I think probably they just basically Daspletosaurus just died off due to climate change and also new predators. That's how it actually happened. But if you actually want to look at a natural disaster probably would have actually caused the extinction of Daspletosaurus, it's probably in a volcanic eruption. If you actually look at if you look around like 75 or 70 million years ago in the rocks of Montana, we would actually see that there is ash deposits there that is from ancient volcanic eruption. And they actually call that the Elkhorn eruption, which was a really powerful volcanic eruption, more powerful than Mount St. Helens, and it actually it just laid out huge amounts of debris and of ash and all that kind of stuff onto the environment, and actually just probably buried most of the dinosaurs that actually came with it. Now that ash would have been super hot. It would have actually cooked all the dinosaurs that actually buried, but also the dinosaurs would have suffocated with that ash. So they would have probably died before that ash cloud, before that roll of ash just actually buried them. And so Daspletosaurus is actually one of my favorite Tyrannosaurs, and I think it's probably a really cool looking dinosaur. If you want to see a Daspletosaurus skeleton, go see it at the Field Museum, because they actually have one there. It's in the dinosaur hall, and it's a really good looking skeleton. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for this special episode. Now let me make an important announcement right here. what I'm going to do is that I will not do any more special episodes probably until either middle of July or end of July, because I need to get some questions to actually to be answered. I know you guys think I'm probably starting to get a little desperate, but even though I'm not getting any more questions, I'm just kind of getting worried about that, and I'm just kind of understanding that if you don't have that much of questions to answer me, I get that, I get it, I mean, if you can't think of anything that comes out of your head and you just can't figure out if there's going to be an answer, but I mean, that's understandable. But make sure I just want some more questions, and I'm just going to do episodes that are actually the start from the past, just answering questions for people that actually want to ask questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life. So anyway, make sure you send in your questions. Email them to me at dinocris71@gmail.com. Make sure to keep your questions short and to the point, and you can actually send me 2 questions on one email. So make sure you actually send in those questions. I'm really looking forward to your questions. I just love answering questions. That's pretty much what I love to do. And also follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook and my fan page at Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. So we'll actually start doing new episodes of the actual Prehistoric Facts show, so it actually be the regular show that it's actually supposed to be. So hopefully send in your questions, and hopefully I can answer them, and honestly as I can. And also for you young people, make sure to listen to your parents and your teachers and your guardians, because they're best motivation they can have for a really good education. Remember, a good education, you have a really good chance of getting a nice job in the future. Anyway, that's it for now. Send in those questions. I really need some. So see you guys in a bit.